Hello, Eliot Chapel. My name is Rob van Alstyne, and while my family and I have been members for nearly 9 years now, this church has played a significant role in my life for quite a bit longer. My wife Susan grew up at Eliot and introduced me to Unitarianism when we met during college. My response at the time went something along the lines of, "So wait a minute, there's like no rules? Sign me up." We were married at Eliot in 2008, at a time in my spiritual education when I'm quite sure I would have gone 0 for 7 if asked to name any of Unitarianism's principles. They let me get married here anyway. When we moved to the St. Louis area to be closer to Susan's family after spending 15 years in St. Paul, Minnesota, it would be safe to say that lofty goals like finding my tribe were the furthest thing from my mind. I was mostly eager to live in a place where pipes would no longer freeze inside our house. Besides, I had a close group of college friends I was confident I could easily stay connected with, and was primarily focused on things like learning how to do my job remotely and moving out of my in-laws' basement, ideally before our second child was born. We missed that last goal by about 7 days. After the dust had settled, however, I looked around and realized that in addition to an absence of snow, I had a serious absence of friends. It turns out that staying close to a group when you are the only one to move away is a very hard thing to do. As someone who had last regularly attended church during their high school years, and never particularly associated that experience with close friendships, it was with a fair degree of skepticism that I approached joining Eliot as anything more than a way for my children to receive a quality religious education. I can safely say it has been so much more than that. The parenting covenant group I was in for many years when I first joined Eliot served as a powerful source of connection and sometimes commiseration over the challenges of rearing young children. My experiences teaching RE alongside other parent volunteers led to the kinds of informal conversations that gradually morphed into outside church socializing and eventually became a group that gathered monthly for boisterous Eliot Dad trivia nights at Mike Duffy's in downtown Kirkwood. All of which is to say I was feeling pretty good about the quality and strength of my Eliot bonds when the pandemic hit, and surprisingly, even better after it. I won't take credit for the idea, but very early on in lockdown, we moved our trivia nights over to Zoom, with folks taking turns creating rounds like Idiom Insanity and Name That Sidekick as the pandemic dragged on. The chance to hang out with someone other than my immediate family pandemic bubble members and simply blow off steam about the absurdity of then hot button topics like where toilet paper was most consistently in stock was priceless. What by all accounts should have been the loneliest time in my adult life was anything but thanks to the community collectively carved at Eliot. I will never forget the feeling of warm camaraderie when we were finally all able to gather together again at Duffy's, and the feeling of victory when we won that $20 bar tab credit. Eliot has given so much to me that giving back in time, talent, and yes, money feels like the only appropriate response. I continue to regularly teach RE, participate in the fun community that put on the Trunk or Treat and book swap events this past fall, and will be increasing my family's pledge this year to help Eliot continue to serve as both a force for good in the greater world and a source of fun-loving community for its members. Thank you for your time.